Millions of people repeat the Lord's Prayer, but almost no one realizes that Jesus did not teach just a prayer. He revealed a pattern, a strategic sequence capable of transforming identity, decisions, emotions, and human behavior. And perhaps the biggest mistake is treating this prayer as something automatic. Because the problem is not what you see, it is what you ignore. In just a few verses, Jesus left 7 invisible codes that continue shaping lives to this day. And when you understand this, everything changes. The Lord's Prayer appears in Matthew during the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus was teaching about true spirituality, not appearances, not empty repetition. And there is something impressive about the structure of this prayer. Every sentence follows a precise order. This is not coincidence, it is a pattern. Jesus builds an invisible logic about how human beings should live. And this is where almost everyone fails. Code 1. Identity. Our Father in Heaven. Matthew 6:9. Jesus begins with identity before any request. He could have taught Mighty God or Creator of the universe. But he chooses Father. Whoever does not understand who they are lives constantly trying to prove their worth. In the Bible, identity always comes before mission. Before Jesus began his ministry, he heard, "This is my beloved Son." Application. Many people live emotionally exhausted because they depend on the approval of others. Social media, comparison, constant validation. Great falls begin silently when someone forgets their identity. Code 2. Perspective. Who art in heaven. Matthew 6:9. This is not about distance, it speaks of elevated perspective. Jesus teaches that there is something above immediate chaos. Peter sank when he took his eyes off above and focused on the storm. Whoever lives only reacting to the present makes impulsive decisions. Application. Anxiety is often born from limited vision. The person only looks at the problem and forgets the bigger picture. Strategic people learn to think above the pressure of the moment. Code 3. Direction. Your will be done. Matthew 6:10. Here Jesus confronts the human ego. Not everything you want leads you where you should go. Solomon wrote, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death." The third code reveals that strength without direction destroys. Application. Today there is an excess of opportunities, information, and distractions, but discipline is knowing how to say no. Perhaps you have already done this without realizing it, making decisions based only on emotion, pride, or impulse. Code 4. Daily dependence. Give us this day our daily bread. Matthew 6:11. Jesus could have taught people to ask for abundance, but he chooses to teach daily dependence. God works through processes, not instant impulses. Jesus does not speak about the bread for the month, nor for the year. He speaks about today. This recalls the manna in the wilderness. God sent food daily, teaching Israel to depend on him step by step. The fourth code is perseverance. Application. Many people try to control everything at once and live exhausted. Anxiety is born when the mind tries to carry days that have not even arrived yet. True progress is almost always daily, silent, and consistent. Code 5. Release to move forward. Forgive us our debts. Matthew 6:12. Jesus places forgiveness at the center of the prayer for a very deep reason. Because wounded people tend to carry invisible burdens for years. And here there is a silent pattern. In the Bible, forgiveness was never approval of wrongdoing. It is freedom from the burden. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and treated unjustly, but he chose not to live trapped in bitterness. Those who don't let go remain connected to what caused the harm. Application. Many people think the past is over, but they remain emotionally trapped by it. Resentment controls energy, decisions, and relationships. It is not weakness. It is emotional intelligence. Code 6. Vigilance and lead us not into temptation. Matthew 6:13. Jesus reveals here one of the most dangerous patterns of human behavior. No one destroys their own life all at once. Great falls begin small, silent, almost invisible. David did not fall only when he became involved with Bathsheba. The fall began earlier. It began when he relaxed his vigilance. While kings went to war, David stayed in the palace. It seems small, but the pattern had already begun. Almost no one notices the beginning of their own downfall. It begins with small permissions. Just this once, I can control it. But the pattern always grows. Application. Small habits build great consequences. Great destructions begin silently. Wise people do not play near the edge. Code 7. Discernment. But deliver us from evil. Matthew 6:13. This may be the deepest code of all, because Jesus is not teaching only about protection. He teaches discernment. In the Bible, evil rarely appears in an obvious form. In Eden, the serpent did not arrive with violence. It arrived with distortion, with a convincing appearance. And this pattern continues to repeat itself today. Not everything that looks like an opportunity is progress. Not everything that looks like freedom produces peace. The problem is not only obvious evil, it is disguised evil. What seems like love can hurt. What seems like success can destroy. What seems like strength can be pride. Application. There are opportunities that seem like progress, but are traps. Relationships that seem like love, but are toxic. Ambitions that seem like growth, but destroy your peace. The invisible pattern always appears before the visible consequence. The Lord's Prayer was never just a memorized prayer. It is a map, identity, perspective, direction, dependence, forgiveness, vigilance, discernment, 7 invisible patterns. And perhaps today you understood something important. The Bible is not only about the past. It reveals human patterns that continue happening every day. Because what is in the Bible is not history, it is a manual that almost no one has learned to read. 7 minutes of wisdom, a lifetime of results. This was today's code. Ancient code. What has always been there, but almost no one noticed.